Hi everyone, Destiny Track Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Show Me the Body album, Dog Whistle. This is the latest full-length LP from New York rock band Show Me the Body, who made an explosive debut with the album Body War back in 2016, which was one of my favorites of that year, mostly because of this album's raw recording and its very unique blend of all things punk and hip-hop and noise. The band eventually followed this project up with a very collab-heavy mixtape the next year, Corpus One, which in my opinion had its moments, but was just a little too messy and inconsistent to make a big deal over. On Corpus, Show Me the Body did bring some amazing versatility to the table though, because this is probably the only band out there that can effectively pull off a drony post-trip-hop cut featuring Princess Nokia, and also a glitchy industrial rap banger with Denzel Curry, as well as a lightning-fast hardcore punk barn burner threatening the right-wing street gang known as the Proud Boys. And I would like to continue thinking of Show Me the Body as a group unique enough to pull off all those things. A group that successfully sits at all of these different genre crossroads in the underground, but their latest effort here, Dog Whistle, is more of a pure expression of punk rage. A lot of the hip-hop and electronic sounds that informed their work up until this point have kind of faded away. Most likely not forever, but that lack of an overt hip-hop influence is still the case on this new LP, and that's kind of a head-scratcher for me, as that and all of the other genres that subtly impacted Show Me the Body's sound were one of the things that made the group so unique, so interesting. And to jettison all of that at this point just seems like a strange choice. But that's not to say the band and this record have no redeeming qualities without all of that. That's untrue. Because Dog Whistle is still a pretty crushing combination of New York punk and noise rock and blistering hardcore. The grinding bass on this thing, the booming drums, the blaring, ear-piercing banjo licks, the guttural, screamed, animalistic vocals, the incredibly raw recording. It has a nice clean punch to it, but it still is filthy enough to make you feel like you have to take a shower after listening to it. This thing also features a pretty tight track list at just around 28 minutes. The speed and the ferocity of the performances on these tracks make all of that feel like it's going by even faster than it is, even as the band is bold enough to pack some of these songs out past the 3-minute mark. Not usually something a lot of punk bands these days do, especially punk bands that sound as raw and as noisy and as auditorily disgusting as Show Me the Body does on Dog Whistle. The opener, which is 4 minutes, kicks off with these very spaced out, milky bass lines. They're chorused. It sounds like the beginning of like an 80s post-punk album, even as the building melodic forlorn banjo licks in the background just get louder and louder. Eventually though, we are blasted with these screeching punk riffs, some pounding drums as well, and even though the band is sounding really primal in this moment, lyrically they're actually delivering a pretty smart critique of the band's cycle of survival, working, performing, working, performing, working, performing. This illustrates a picture of Show Me the Body being plugged into what they're doing just as they would be like any other job. The "no work will set you free" mantra on this track I think is really important to remember, especially as someone who is a millennial who is subject to a lot of media and a lot of articles and think pieces that say, oh, the freelance economy is so amazing. It allows you to just do whatever you want to do. You're doing stuff on your own terms. You know, do what you love for a job and you'll never work a day in your life. When honestly, even doing something as cool as being in a band can just be another rut to dig yourself into. I also love the heavy and demented breakdown on this track. The slight sloppiness of the delivery just makes it seem a little refreshing and kind of weird, mutant. The next highlight on the record for me is the anti-cop anthem Badge Grabber, which kicks off with this near deadpan spoken word, these industrial cycling, skipping hits of what sounds like this pounding bass or percussion. Gung, 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 gung. Eventually the band turns on this flood of drums and vocals and screaming banjos. The only thing more confrontational than the sound of this track are the lyrics. Part of a monolith, you will get nothing back, not even your pride, not even your life. Part of a monolith, how it feel to die inside. In the end, in the streets, you will die outside. The brutal weirdo breakdowns I mentioned earlier, they turn up on this track too. This cut is absolutely hideous and in the best way possible. The next cut that really wowed me in the track list here had to be Forks and Knives, mostly for its explosive rap rock breakdown in the second third of the track. The song suddenly brings these old school rap flows and jump the fuck up riffs. It's like listening to the band Lightning Bolt if they were collaborating with Korn on that track that they had Ice Cube on. The song Now I Know is not a favorite for me on here, but it at least stands out for it being the band's first attempt at trying to do something more low-key. It's a dejected and despondent cut that really tones down the aggression. The vocals are delivered in like this near spoken word. I wish the overall message of the track was brought home a bit better or made a bit clearer, but still the song is unsettling to say the least. The song Arcanum has a similarly slow build, but with a better payoff between this and Now I Know. I wish the band just kind of kept this cut, especially since the distorted banjo licks that kick this song off definitely make it an aesthetic standout in the track list. Meanwhile, the closing track, USA Lullaby, I'm not super crazy about the tune at the core of this one, but the build of it is pretty interesting, as it seems like the chord progressions are mostly handled by these pitched samples of like droning walls of noise. How the band is conjuring this noise and making it do what they're doing, I don't really know. It sounds like what you would get if the band No Age were forced to write a record for crust punks. There are a few other cuts in the track list here, like Drought as well as Madonna Rocket, that hit some pretty good grooves and straightforward riffs. They just feel like very meat and potatoes punk with maybe a noisier or a more bombastic edge. And overall, I mean, I think this record is pretty good. I like it. I'm not head over heels for it. There are some spots that I wish were more original. There are some riffs and songs that I think are kind of generic, but generally I do like the recording. I do like the lyrics. I like how hard this thing hits. I am sad to see the diversity of influences and sounds on a Show Me the Body album dwindle a little bit, even if they did manage to come through with a more focused effort on this one. Pretty enjoyable record, especially if you're looking for a punk release that has a lot of lyrics that really burn the status quo to the ground, come off a little nihilistic at points too. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this thing. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video for you to check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Show Me the Body, forever